In this video, I covered the brand new Chaos Cubed drop, which features a brand new cave biome, brand new mob, a bunch of cool building blocks, and a lot more. And without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so as you can see, since we are in the pre-release 2 for Minecraft 26.2, we do have a new panorama of the new Sulfur Cave. And not only is the panorama new, there's also new buttons down at the bottom. There's a friends button, which basically, if you have friend requests, you can like have them open. There's a bunch of options for that. But I don't quite fully know how this works. I do know that's kind of still in development by Mojang, even when this will be fully released. And there is a release date for this update. It'll be fully released on Java and Bedrock on June 16th. But without further ado, let's get into the world and check out the new Sulfur Caves. So when I actually just generated this world, I actually found exactly what I was trying to look for right by spawn, which is really helpful. So this will be your indication as to whether or not a sulfur cave is underneath you, is if you spot a geyser, which is made up of a combination of blocks. You have tuff, granite, and the new sulfur and cinnabar blocks. And if you do enter the water with the potent sulfur in it, then you do indeed get the nausea effect. Interesting, it'll only happen if you go above the surface. If you're completely underwater, you actually don't get it, which I find a little bit strange. So you will occasionally see these geysers erupt with steam, and this will only happen if you have a potent sulfur above either a magma block or lava. However, it behaves differently. If it's a magma block, then it'll occasionally erupt steam, but if it has lava underneath, it'll constantly be erupting, which I can show real quick. And if you're wondering how you get your hands on potent sulfur, it's basically 9 sulfur blocks in a crafting table. And sulfur you actually can get renewably thanks to these sulfur spikes. I believe the way these grow is different from pointed dripstone. I'm not entirely certain like what it is, but I do know that it does grow incredibly slowly. And before you ask, no, there is no renewable way to get cinnabar, unfortunately. And eventually, if you do keep digging underneath this, you will come across Sulfur Cave. This is just, like I said, this is just like azalea tree corresponding that a lush cave is underneath you. And here you'll find that the water here is actually kind of like a greenish color. And also, if you turn down your render distance to 2, the Sulfur Cave actually has its own fog, which does look pretty cool, but you can't really experience that on the surface, really. I think you can on the surface, but I have heard that that is pretty rare. So the Sulfur Caves are home to 2 mobs that you'll find down here. Cave spiders will naturally generate here, which I think is kind of fitting, but it also makes this biome a little bit more dangerous on top of the other hostile mobs you'll find here. And of course the sulfur cube. But unlike the slime and magma cube, it is actually a passive mob. And the unique behavior that it has, it actually doesn't drop any unique loot. Instead, what it does is it has the ability to absorb blocks. And once it absorbs a block, it completely loses its AI, and you can actually like push it around and stuff. Its behavior depends on the block it absorbs, so it has different attributes. So if it's a magma block, it will actually damage mobs that it touches. And he actually perfectly fits in a 1x1 spot. And I believe if you give it invisibility, then yeah, it actually looks like there's actually like a magma block. And there's actually a really easy way to transport these guys as you can see there, you have a bucket of sulfur cube. You just pick up a big sulfur cube in a normal bucket. I don't know if it works with the babies. Yeah, it doesn't. So it actually has to be the big kind. And if you do want to get more of these guys, all you have to do is kill one, and it'll automatically split into 2 little small ones. And the small ones you can actually feed a golden dandelion to. And as you can see, abandoned mine shafts can generate in these, which is actually kind of important because there's actually a new music disc in this drop. Oh, it's not in it. Which generates in minecart chests, but only if they're in a sulfur cave biome. But the music disc is actually not as rare as you think. I believe it's like a 1 in 3 chance that you can get it in a minecart chest. And I actually have not listened to this, so this is going to be my first reaction listening to this disc. So I say let's give this a listen, huh? Okay, this is like a chill beats. I can vibe with this disc. It sounds like a bit classic. I don't know. I mean, I don't have much else to say about this other than, like, it's chill beats. I vibe with this disc. I really like it. Sounds like it might be coming to an end. not a bad disc if I do say so myself. And as you can see, the composer for this disc is by Fingerspit. There's also new Minecraft music by him that you can listen to in game and on Spotify. So I'll leave a link in the description. But anyways, there's not much else to talk about sulfur blocks. I mean, there is brick sets for the sulfur and cinnabar, slabs, stairs, and walls, all that. And there's also the chiseled cinnabar and sulfur. The chiseled sulfur has the sulfur cube model on it, and the chiseled cinnabar has like a spider on it. Kind of a reference to the cave spiders that can potentially spawn here. Mining speed of this is the same as like stone and diorite, so you can insta-mine this if you have a haste 2 beacon efficiency 5 diamond pickaxe. So I guess now that we're kind of done with the sulfur caves, I guess what we can move on to now is like the different attributes the sulfur cube can have. So let's go back up to the surface. So one thing I will point out real quick, I'm not entirely certain how often you will be able to find these. I hope that they're like as often as like trying to find an azalea tree. But I have a feeling the sulfur caves kind of spawn more commonly underneath arid biomes like savannas. So I don't know how many different attributes there are for a sulfur cube. I think there's like 8 in terms of like blocks. So I think if I give it like a wood block, then I believe that's like the normal attribute. It's like you can hit it really far. It's kind of bouncy. I do know ice makes this thing very slippery, although not when it's in water. Wool will actually make it more bouncy, I think. And it'll actually get more air off if you hit it like at an upper angle, as you can see like that. I believe amethyst might be one, but I'm not 100% sure. And I'll leave a link in the description to the wiki. Although one that I do know is TNT, and there's actually an advancement for giving a sulfur cube a TNT block called Uh-Oh. Now the igniting phase for this is actually slower, or more delayed I should say, than regular TNT. So if I light this one slightly first, this one is still gonna explode first. So the explosion of a TNT inside of a sulfur cube is slightly delayed. In my personal opinion, I think these guys are really cool. However, there's like not much use to them other than them having the ability to absorb blocks. And if you want to get the block out of the sulfur cube, you can just right click the mob with shears. I mean, these guys are really cool if you want to build mini games on a multiplayer server. As someone who has little to no friends on Minecraft, this does not really apply to me in the slightest. Which is why I like rank this drop like significantly lower than the others, because at least all the other ones had like some use in some way, like Chase the Skies with the Happy Ghast. Like the Happy Ghast is a really useful mob to have. Copper Age drop, added the copper golem to sort your storage. That's really useful. The sulfur cube,
nowhere near as useful.
Because to be honest, the next drop that is coming out is going to be way more cool. So regarding my thoughts on the Chaos Cube drop and what I covered, I think this drop is kind of disappointing. And even like the new block sets that have been added, the sulfur and the cinnabar, like they're not like the greatest either, because for one, cinnabar is not renewable and sulfur is. But I mean, I can't argue much about it. There's nothing that I can personally do about it. Like, it's really out of my control. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are on the Chaos Cubed drop and what your personal thoughts are on this. Personally, for me, I think this drop is very mid. That's going to be a wrap up for me for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have enjoyed what you've seen, please do drop a like. Consider subscribing so you don't miss out on future videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Have a great day.